Depreciation is your least best friend if you're buying new cars, but it can be your best friend if you're like me and love shopping used. And that's because you can get some of the coolest cars on earth for less than 40% of their original price if you're willing to be just a little bit patient. What's up guys, it's Brad Danger here, and today we're gonna run through some amazing sports cars. And some are pretty new, and others, while they're a little bit more of a veteran, they're still a blast to drive. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell, and buckle up, let's go. Okay, to start off this list, let's talk about a twin-turbo 560 horsepower 4.4 liter V8 that just happens to be attached to a luxury car. Well, we're talking about the 2015 BMW M5. Now, when this German sled first hit the market, I was super impressed, and this M5 was one of the most talked about cars in the auto journal world. For a big body 4-door sedan, it had a face peeling 0 to 60 time of just 4.2 seconds. And plus, crack the door and you get ultra plush German interior. But you and I and everybody else knows exactly what happens as soon as any BMW leaves the lot. That's right, it's hit with the depreciation stick. Luckily, this M5 though wasn't hit with the ugly stick. Bruh. Do you like them? The M5 got hit real hard with that depreciation stick. We're talking about losing 66% of its value in just 6 short years. That's like 11% per year. And if that trend continues, it might just end up being free in 2025. Math works like that, right? I mean, check out this one for 38 grand. It could be sitting in your driveway right now. And that will make everyone, including me, believe that you're a serious high roller. Now, I know that nothing costs more than a used BMW, and 40K isn't exactly cheap, but that's why we have this next car on our list that costs $90,000 less than it did new. Now, real quick, if you're interested in buying any of these cars on this list, or you just want to understand the right way to research, purchase, enjoy, and exit out of any ideal car the right way, check out our ideal car strategies up here and join like-minded individuals. And join me. And here's the thing, if you have enough money to buy a cheap NA Miata, well, you have enough money to get started leveling up your car purchases today. I'll link to the ideal car strategies down in the description as well, and I can't wait to see you inside. Now, this next Maserati's claim to fame is that the engine is built by the one and only Ferrari. And the absolute amazing music that it plays driving down the street is worth the price alone. The problem though is that, well, they are about as reliable as your buddies that says he'll meet you at the bar. Then he shows up and he, well, forgot his wallet. But the good news is that because they are so unreliable, their prices drop faster than the 1930s stock market crash. And that means that you can buy one for a fifth of their original price. Just check out this 2008 with under 50,000 miles. And to put this into perspective, this Italian V8 sports car lost $2 of value every single mile it traveled. If your Camry was the same way, you'd have to pay people to take it by the time its warranty was up. But what if you want something a little bit more reliable and a little, well, a lot less Italian? What's one of the best handling, best sounding cars to come out of Germany? Well, the Porsche 987 Fastback, or also known as the Cayman. Okay, you know I have a couple Porsches, and if you love Porsches, hit that like button. And if you hate Porsches, hit that dislike button not just once, hit it twice, really let us know. Because this baby 911 is named after the small, ferocious cousin of the alligator. And I bet you didn't know that. But it is actually pretty fitting considering the Cayman is smaller than the Carrera counterpart. But don't let that fool you one bit, because the Cayman is regularly called one of the best driving cars that you can get at any price. In fact, when you throw a couple of upgrades on these puppies, the Cayman will run the ring faster than its bigger brother. But Porsche wants to protect the purity of the 911 lineage. And having had seat time in multiple Caymans, I think it might be well, it is the better handling car. Just don't tell any 911 owners I said that. But that's probably because it's a mid-engine rear-wheel drive go-kart, and it's an absolute blast to drive. And you can pick one up for cheap. while they definitely didn't depreciate as much as the other cars on this list, you're still looking at nearly 70% off of MSRP for the first generation. But you want to act fast because, well, the secret's getting out and the values are starting to go up. But that makes it one of the most ideal deals on this list and one of the best cars to use with the ideal car strategies. And that's because you can buy one now, drive the pants off of this thing, and sell it for more than you bought it for. Then level up to something else, like maybe a 911 Turbo. So if that sounds like a great plan, check out this one for just $20K. And I bet you'll be having a ball of fun the next few months. And yeah, I hear you. You want something that's got more power. But you didn't want to leave the land of beer and pretzels. Well, worry not, mein Fräulein. Mercedes-Benz has you covered with the SL500. Let me throw some numbers at you. 95K new, 15K now, that's 84% off. You just can't have a list of depreciated cars that are awesome without at least one visit to Mercedes-Benz. This time, it's all about the SL550, which is what happens when you cross the big S-Class with a Miata. Except Miatas could only dream about making the near 400 horsepower that this beast of a car can make from its 5.5 liter engine. I mean, to be fair, that's like 3 Miata motors bolted together. So I would hope it would make this kind of power, except there is that flying Miata kit. But that's another story for another day. But you guys know that power alone isn't gonna get you on this list. Nah, this list requires some mad depreciation. Like I said, 84% off the original price. This 07 costs an entire C8 Corvette less than it did when it was new, which is great for you and me. Well, because you get your butt into a sweet German sports car for about 18,000 bucks. Now, if you live in the snow though, you might prefer something that's more all-terrain capable, which is where our next car really shines. The Audi S5 with Quattro. New, these things were 53K. Now, 17K. So you're getting about 68% off. And the Audi S5 is not the first, it's not the second, it's the third German car on our list with a V8. But if I'm honest, it's the one that I would buy. The BMW just has a little too much BMW for my liking. Plus, it's still pretty expensive. And the Mercedes, well, I think I'm just not old enough to appreciate the classic styling yet. But this Audi hits hard, and it's that perfect blend between great looks, awesome power, and all-wheel drive confidence. Just know that they're really cheap now, like less than the price of a used Toyota 86 cheap, and just look at this one for 18K. You could be driving an all-wheel drive 4.2 liter Audi sports coupe, or you could be putting around in an underpowered hardtop Miata. And the price, that's not even the best part. See, Audi has this really bad reliability problem. It's nearly on par with Maserati, but somehow their V8s missed the memo and are actually fairly reliable. Plus, straight pipe it, and yeah, your neighbors will be thanking you. Or not. But one thing with the Audi, not the Innie, is that it won't turn heads like the next car on this list. So if that's a concern for you, put on a tuxedo, order your martini shaken, not stirred, and take a look at the Aston Martin DB9. Now, this has to be the best looking car on our list. Disagree? Let me know down below. It sure is my favorite. And while yes, it's not the fastest thing that you can buy for 40 stacks, it is the one that the valet will park at the front of the hotel when you roll up. Plus, the DB9 also has the honor of being the biggest loser of value on our list. As a percentage, it rivals the Maserati, but as a dollar amount, well, let's put it this way. The difference between the DB9 new and the DB9 used could buy you a house in a lot of the US. Here's a DB9 for $37,000. Which is, get this, 129,000 bucks less than it costs new. Just life pro tip, make sure you have a mechanic on speed dial because, well, he's gonna be your best friend if you make this purchase. But even if it's not running great, it still makes a beautiful paperweight. And I can already hear you saying, Brad, I don't have 40 grand. Well, guess what? I don't have 40 grand either. So how about an honorable mention? Something that you could work hard over the summer hustling and buy. And if you want to know what side hustles to make money this summer, check out our other channel, Ideal Money. Because if you watch a couple of those videos in no time at all, you could have some American iron. Now, this is one of my favorite cars with pop-up headlights. It's the C5 Corvette. and it's actually the last car that came with pop-up headlights. Plus, under the hood, you get a 350 cubic inch American V8. Now, 0 to 60 comes in under 5 seconds, which still today is still damn fast. And get this, no one really wants them. But if you want my honest opinion, the C5 Corvette is probably the absolute highest amount of performance you can get for the money. And make no mistake here, these things are cheap, like under 10K cheap. Sure, they're a little old now, but that doesn't make them any less fun to drive. Heck, they might even be more fun to own now because they're just pretty much bulletproof. And there's really just no tech to catch fire. And here we go. Here's one for $9,000. And if you use the negotiation tactics and the ideal car strategies, you're probably getting in at 7. And yes, you have to rip off the crappy plastic, but still, for under 10 grand, they're amazing values. And you're gonna wanna get one quick because they're trending up in price. And you know what? I wanna do one more car. What do you think when you think of Jaguar? Not the cat, but the car company. You know what comes to my mind? Big broken V12s. Well, yeah, that's Jaguar. But they also make a sports car, one that you can pick up for a fraction of the original price, and one that breaks squid in my neck pretty much every time one rolls by. We're talking about the F-Type. Now, the F-Type is here to finish our list, not because it's depreciated really hard, but because it's mid-depreciation. So I want you guys to keep an eye on it and track the prices. And I think in the next couple years, you can get in when the metal is glowing hot. See, most cars on this list are near their floor, and some, like the Cayman or the C5 Corvette, are starting to creep back up in price. When they hit that floor, it's called the depreciation valley. And almost every car falls towards it, and the F-Type is still falling towards that valley. So over the next year or two, the deals are only gonna get sweeter. So get a Cayman now, and in a year from now, get into an F-Type using the strategies. And why would you want one in a year? Well, when it first came out, critics complained that the F-Type drove too much like a race car, which, yeah, to me, that's a pro, not a con. But Jaguar had never really made anything this wild. And so critics were expecting it to drive like the Jaguar XK, which basically drives like a marshmallow over a campfire. And what Jaguar actually put out to the public was an air-gulping monster that runs 0 to 60 in the 4-second area. And it's even been called an unrefined Porsche 911. But honestly, I mean, you kind of want to tame the cat, and it kind of makes me want one even more. And here's one just shy for 30 grand, and you'd want to negotiate this one super hard because, well, you'd want to buy it at around 25, which is probably where they're going to hit in a couple of years. So keep an eye on the market or just negotiate one super hard right now. Anyways, which car would you buy given the opportunity? Let us know down in the comments below. Also, hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, and if you're new here, I'm Brad Danger. Please subscribe and turn on that notification bell, and check out some of our other Ideal content. We're all about sharing opportunities with you guys, and then teaching you with the Ideal car strategies how to level up from a MIATA all the way to a McLaren. Because, well, life's too short to drive boring cars, so better learn now than never. I'm Brad Danger, this is Ideal Cars, and keep living the Ideal lifestyle.